Welcome to our Sunday morning meditation service. It's so great to be back and missed you all and had a interesting time. And it's just been great to be back in America among you all. So let's chant. From the point of light within, within the mind of God, let light shine forth to the minds of all. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within, within the heart of God, let love spring forth to the hearts of all. Let light descend on earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the wills of all. The purpose that the masters know and serve. From the center which I call the state of love. Let the plan of love and light work out. Let the plan of love and light work out. Of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth to the minds of all. Let light descend love and light and peace restore the plan on earth. Let love and light and peace restore the plan on earth.
Good morning, everyone. In 1969, I was in Cape Canaveral, Florida, where I watched the launch of the Apollo 11 rocket, which carried Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins to the moon. They landed on an area of the moon named Place of Tranquility. And they put a plaque down in that area with the words inscribed on it that said, "We come in peace as the people of Earth." And indeed, Armstrong and Aldrin, who walked on the moon, said they found peace there, which is not surprising, since there never had been any human beings there before to disturb the peace. Which makes the point about the initial state of consciousness in which humanity exists. That humanity that has not yet risen to the higher level of awareness, which still perceives life as being a godless chaos of separated forms, making peace impossible because there is no real communication. That particular definition of life is flawed. It's flawed because it holds the awareness of every human being in the illusion of separation. And so each human being is operating from his or her collection of personal beliefs. And so there is seldom any real agreement or any real in-depth agreement that would bring true peace. And that's the human dilemma. What most people aren't aware of is that true peace is a conscious choice. Anyone can make a conscious choice to pursue the enlightened level of awareness in which true peace of mind exists. But that remains something of a mystery to the world because of the world's definition of life, which indeed is flawed. That is why when I speak about peace, true peace, I speak about it as mystical peace. It's mystical because the world doesn't or isn't capable of acknowledging the interconnectedness of everything that is, of all creation. But if one were to choose true peace, and the practice that requires one to enter into this higher level of awareness, then that one would know that true peace is only possible through honest introspection. Without honest introspection, there cannot be any peace. It requires an honest, open mind in order to seek one's true nature. And without an open mind, that seeking will fail. Just as everything sought in the world to bring about peace from the illusionary definition of separation fails. It fails and fails utterly and will always fail, because it has no connection with the inspired wisdom of life itself. I'm going to share a video with you of the unopened mind, which depicts the flaw in human awareness. Can we have this video, please?
Here's your half.
Why? Why can't I have that half?
Okay, here.
But why did you want to give me that to begin with?
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's
But
literally the
why-
same sandwich cut in half.
But why didn't you want to give me that one first?
I don't care which one you want. Here, you want this one? Take it.
No, I want that one now. Blaze!
What one you want now? It's the same fucking thing.
Never mind, I don't want anything.
You got to see it again.
Here's your half.
Why? Why can't I have that half?
Okay, here.
But why did you want to give me that to begin with?
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's
But
literally
why-
the same sandwich cut in half.
But why didn't you want to give me that one first?
I don't care which one you want. Here, you want this one? Take it.
No, I want that one now. Blaze!
What one you want now? It's the same fucking thing.
Never mind, I don't want anything.
Do you believe it's possible to enter into and sustain mystical peace of mind in a delusional world? A delusional world which is referred to by the masters down through the ages in that way, or an insane world, or a world in conflict forever. All of those definitions fit the initial state of consciousness in which we were born and raised to define ourselves in terms of being a separate body-mind in a world of separate others. And from that definition, there can be no peace, true peace. So, we have to step out on faith to believe that it's not necessary to change the entire world out there in order to enter into that higher mystical state of awareness. It is only necessary to take one's own awareness to task and thereby make peace the goal, which means that all other considerations fall second to the goal of peace. This is where every master begins his or her journey. By choosing peace as the goal of every situation. If one is in fact honestly choosing peace as the goal of every situation, that one will ultimately receive insight as to how to make that happen in whatever ways it can happen. It cannot always happen because conditions and people still aren't along in that awareness of choosing peace. But anyone who chooses peace ultimately will enter a higher state of awareness, which is the enlightened state. But it means the surrender of one's personal desires, dictates, and demands, which is what comes to us through the initial state of consciousness. Interpreting ourselves as a separate body-mind in a world of separate others, our personal self-interest precedes us in every situation, in every condition, and thereby there can be no resolution toward peace. So that is the human dilemma that we deal with every day. I think historically, if you think historically, you'll realize something. That what I am talking about right now is not new, but it is a universal truth. So I'm going to try to bring to light the universal truth as it was shared over 1,500 years ago. And this is from the book of Deuteronomy. Can we have the first PowerPoint, please? This is Deuteronomy 30, 11 to 14. This is Moses speaking this on 1526 BC. For this commandment, which I command you this day, is not too hard for you, neither is it far off. It is not in heaven that you should say, who will go up for us to heaven and bring it to us, that we may hear it and do it? Neither is it beyond the sea that you should say, who will go over the sea for us and bring it to us, that we may hear it and do it? But the word is very near you. It is in your mouth and in your heart, so that you can do it. In some of your scriptures, you'll have it written this way. The theologian that interpreted it this way. But the word is very near you. It is in your mouth and in your heart, so that you can hear it and you can do it. So that's 1,500 years before the birth of Christ. That universal truth about where the divine word, the healing word of life, the transforming word of life exists. Now let's go to the master of life and what he said about this universal truth. Can we have this next PowerPoint, please? You can read this in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 12, verses 34 to 37. This is Jesus, 30 AD. For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. The good person out of his, her good treasure brings forth good, and the evil person out of his or her evil treasure brings forth evil. I tell you, each day of judgment, rendering account for every careless word they utter. For by their words they are either receiving love and peace of mind or self-condemnation and sorrow. You should know that the parentheses are my interpretation of the words that are there. Can we take this PowerPoint back again, please? For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. The good person out of his or her good treasure brings forth good, and the evil person out of his or her evil treasure. And what it's speaking about is about the collection of beliefs which exist in one's subconscious mind. Each of us grows up in the initial state of consciousness, collecting the beliefs that define our personal perception. And in the Bible, it's referred to as the heart, the deep feeling beliefs one aligns his or her consciousness with. So what it is saying, the good person out of his or her good treasure brings forth good, and the evil person out of his or her evil treasure brings forth evil. I tell you, each day is a day of judgment in which people are rendering account. I brought this up to the present because in the original, in the Bible, it says, on the day of judgment, you will be judged for each careless word you utter. But you see, it sets the day of judgment up as some place in the distance where you may come before God, who is going to judge the way you conducted your life, the things you said, and the actions you take. But that's really not, it's unfortunate that such scripture is interpreted by unenlightened people. They're intelligent, they've studied, but they have no awareness that these words written in the Aramaic, which have no division, and they have no verbs. So they have to add that, and they add them from a point of view of separation. So now you're getting the truth, as I understand it. We are rendering account for every careless word we are uttering. For it is by our thoughts, our deepest thoughts, that we are either receiving love and peace by choice of mind, or we are receiving self-condemnation and sorrow, depression, and more fear. So I suspect we should look at the most modern document of truth, or proposing to be the truth. So now we'll look at A Course in Miracles, and this is from 1975. You can read this in the Course in Miracles workbook on page 118. My salvation comes from me. Do you believe that? The seeming cost of accepting today's idea is this. It means that nothing outside yourself can save you. Nothing outside yourself can give you peace. But it also means that nothing outside yourself can hurt you or disturb your peace or upset you in any way. Today's idea places you in charge of the universe, where you belong because of what you are. This is not a role that can be partially accepted, and you must surely begin to see that accepting it is salvation. Can we take this PowerPoint back again, please? You can easily see how something like this would not be received in traditional Christian religious organizations. It's the reason why Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, when they began their work after their deep study of where all the major religions agreed, and they came up with the ideal of unity, And they actually sent out a magazine that held these truths to be evident. And people were receiving the magazine, and the object of it was for those people to go to their churches, wherever they were, whatever denomination they happened to be, and they could carry these interpretations with them and share them with the people there. Well, that didn't work out at all, because the people there were not willing to be open to that, and there was a lot more conflict even than anyone really understood what happened. So people then, receiving these truths in the Unity magazine, requested Charles and Myrtle Fillmore to create churches in which people of like mind who were studying these truths could get together. And that was the beginning of the Unity movement. And that's why I say the kind of truths we are sharing here in Unity are not readily accepted by those that have been conditioned to the illusions of a separate, distant God in the sky somewhere, and a separate, distant idea of life itself, and causing nothing but separation, consternation, dis-ease, and war. Now, with an open mind, if you're here for the first time, you have an opportunity to stay for the discussion group which we have after the service in Fellowship Hall. We have refreshments and things over there that you can have, and then we circle up and we can discuss anything you want to discuss about this talk, or anything you want to discuss about Unity and the movement itself. But see how you feel about this truth in 1975. Basically the same truth we looked at that was spoken 1,500 years before the Christ birth. My salvation comes from me, from within me. It's me. The seeming cost of accepting today's idea is this. It means that nothing outside yourself can save you. Nothing outside yourself can give you peace. But it also means that nothing outside yourself can hurt you or disturb your peace, or upset you in any way. Today's idea places you in charge of the universe, where you belong because of what you are. This is not a role that you can partially accept, and you must surely begin to see that accepting it is salvation. You must surely begin to see that accepting this commission for yourself brings salvation from a world that is delusionary and driven by conflict. So, for a long time, we think that somehow or other, through whatever means we would decide or choose, through maybe technology, and even today people are thinking maybe with AI technology we can actually control the people of the world, the nations of the world, and establish peace, a meaningful peace. But that's not going to ever happen, as is witnessed by the circumstances of the world today. There is no technology that's going to enable us to control the thinking of all those people who are conditioned to the illusion of being separate, so that they will conform to what is truly reasonable. What is taking place in our world is not reasonable, not on a deep level of reasoning. It's on a very surface level in which people are still accounting their separation and their point of view as being the all-important concept that needs to be honored, so that unenlightened people are forever looking to have their personal expectations met, their personal opinions taken and understood, their personal desires fulfilled, their personal demands accomplished. And it can never happen. Can you imagine that? For centuries, that has been the underlying sin of all sin. It can never happen. The underlying sin of all sin is that it can happen. I can make it happen. If I make enough money, if I collect or have enough power, I can make this happen, at least for me. No, it can't. It can't. It can't. It can only happen through personal transformation of awareness, in which you decide you would like to enter a higher level of consciousness. And that requires taking to task one's own awareness. And that requires understanding mystical peace is the measure of your enlightened state. How much peace you're able to have and sustain measures where you are in the evolution toward enlightenment. In that Old Testament Deuteronomy, it concludes with these words: I have set before you today the truth and what is good, which is life or death. Choose. On the Bill Maher show, the recent episode of the Bill Maher show, which I caught just yesterday, Bill Maher brings up, from his point of view, the great dilemma facing people now who are in this country attempting to choose a leader for their country. And the great dilemma, he says, is that the amount of misinformation that is foisted upon the people of this country causes them not to be able to know what is true and what is not true. That's what his point was with this panel. Some people are saying, I can't vote because I simply do not know what is true and what is not true because of all the misinformation that has been foisted upon us. And let me say this: the unenlightened, in their unenlightenedness, even though they are intellectually sometimes brilliant to come up with things like AI, they've taken it to a place where they were warned 2 years ago, seriously warned, not to continue in the experiments that would bring the alternative information, the AI information that comes from computers. Don't take it to a place where you lead them to understand the algorithms so that they can make decisions on their own. Don't take mankind out of the equation so that you are now turning the ability of computers to consider, reflect, and make decisions on their own. Well, we are there. And if you think you have seen a plethora of misinformation, get ready. And that's all out of the ego, which cannot let go, being first, most important, making more money than. So in the program, and by the way, if you want to see a really brilliant program, see if you can catch that episode that was on this week. I think it's the latest episode of Bill Maher. He had two brilliant guests on that show. And their deliberations were brilliant, really brilliant. In one particular back and forth, Bill Maher said, Janice Jackson said that she heard that Kamala Harris's father was white, which is total misinformation. But in any case, it's something she was believing and sharing. But that's just a tiny little simple thing, because she said she heard it from somebody. So Bill Maher is trying to point up the dilemma that we have of passing around misinformation all over the place. But it goes further than that because of the illusionary concept of self. It goes further than that because today we have people who will deny blatant facts when placed before them, will still deny blatant facts and carry on their beliefs in some flawed, false concept, which usually comes from some authority figure that they want for some strange, odd reason. People are not willing to be honest enough to look at facts and say, you know, I was following that in a limited way. This is what is really true. And they've done experiments with this. If you want one experiment, all you have to do is go back to that last presidential election and the denial that has come out of that. After 80 court cases, 80 court cases in which they attempted to prove in some way or fashion that the election was frauded, rigged, the courts said there's not a shred of evidence. The Attorney General of the United States, who was the right hand of the president at that time, said, not possible, never happened. Never, 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 never happened. And here's all the proof of it. Fox News spent $760 million to settle a lawsuit from the computer company that they were saying caused the frauding. You couldn't have more proof that that election was not frauded. You couldn't have more proof. And yet there are people today in every walk of life saying, no, it was stolen. Here's our dilemma. Unless you turn within and start to master truth from a level of insight, you will be led astray. Because if you operate from seeking the higher level of awareness and you put away the initial conditioning of being separate and special, in what you believe and think, you put that away just while you're doing your meditation. Insight from the divine intelligence itself, that is life ongoing, that intelligence will come to you and relate to you what is true and what is false, what is right and what is wrong, what is good and what is not good. That's all there is to it. That's it. There's no other religion. You have no other hope. So let's take some time to meditate together. Begin by taking a couple of deep breaths. As you release your breath, release any specific cares or concerns that you might be carrying with you. Just breathing, remembering to breathe when you're feeling conflicted, when something has occurred causing some resistance within. Just remembering to breathe will bring you into a level of peace, at least, where you can rise from there and feel your way into the higher level and what would bring peace. Please close your eyes for a few moments and let's deal with this contemplation. Review some of the external places where you have looked for fulfillment and peace in the past. Review some of the external places where you have looked for fulfillment and peace in the past, in other people, in possessions, in various situations and events, in false concepts you thought to make real, recognizing that your fulfillment and peace were never there. Review some of the external places where you have looked for fulfillment and peace in the past, in other people, in possessions, in various situations and events, in false concepts you thought to make real. Recognize that your fulfillment and peace are not there. And tell yourself, my fulfillment and peace cannot come from any of these things. Fulfillment and peace come from within me, only me. My fulfillment and peace cannot come from any of these outer perceptions. Fulfillment and peace come from within me, only me. Use that as your mantra. Fulfillment and peace are mine to gain, for they are a conscious choice for peace. Fulfillment and peace are mine to gain, for they resolve from a conscious choice for peace. As we go forth from this meditation to those places we occupy in time and space, let us go forth with a greater determination to be awake, fully awake in the process of living. For this opportunity in every moment, we give thanks. And to this we say, Amen. We will take an offering for unity now. And I say to those of you that are watching this live stream, you have these different ways that you can donate to Unity of Boulder. And we have, if you're watching this on our website, you can just go to the top right-hand corner that says donate and make a donation to Unity of Boulder. And I invite you to occasionally put in an appearance again. Share the appearance and the awareness of unity here in the brick and mortar church. And my thanks really goes out to all of you that are involved in recurring tithing. That is, you've offered your credit card with a certain amount that you'd like to tithe. We appreciate that, even if it's only like $10 a month. We appreciate that because it gives us an opportunity to try to figure out how much we can spend and how much we have to just tighten our belt. So for all of us here, we can bring to mind that gift that we'd like to make to unity today. And let's bless it with this offering prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And so it is.
I am in your sacred light. I feel the radiance of all life. My heart is open. Oh Lord, let me know your will. I am in your sacred light. I feel the radiance of all life. My heart is open. Creator, let me know your will. Let me know your will. Let me know your will.
Join me now, please, from the heart. We dedicate this tithe to the will and the work of the Spirit of truth, the Spirit available to each of us, the Spirit that joins all of us. We dedicate this tithe to the victory of the Spirit of truth. Amen. So, if you would like to, and you would be so blessed if you would, stick around for the second service, because Cintisha will give you an insight into putting this stuff together that we are talking about. And we have refreshments over here in Fellowship Hall, so as you leave, you can go to your right in Fellowship Hall. And then we're going to have a discussion group. I'm going to be over there in about 5 minutes. I just have to feed my dog, and I'll be over there. Okay? To everyone, have an awakened day.